Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, so I know I'm really late on this video, but I needed time to truly be able to process and watch everything that came out this year, or at least as much as I could. And so now I think I am definitively ready to present my top 10 movies of the year. So of course, just as a warning, you're going to disagree with this list. In fact, there's some of them you'll probably disagree with a lot, but that's the beauty of this. This isn't what I'm saying. In my opinion, this is what my favorite movies of the year were. So, it's an opinion. We can all have different opinions. Yay! So at number 10, we have the film It. So, It, or also known as It Chapter 1, since there's going to be the sequel, It is a remake of the book / remake of the miniseries, but I had no expectations going into this film. And I ultimately walked out of it saying, holy crap, that was actually really good. It's one of the first movies in a while I was willing to watch twice in the same day, where I immediately finished the film and I'm like, you know what, I want to watch it again. Pennywise, Ben Skarsgård gave a legendary performance as Pennywise that, in my opinion, is better than Tim Curry's. At number 9, we had the space survival thriller film Life. Life is one of those movies that I also had no expectations going into, and I sat there and said, okay, holy crap, I was on the edge of my seat. It was very reminiscent of something like 10 Cloverfield Lane, where it's just a thrill ride that you're gripping your seat and you are white-knuckled the entire time. The creature, Calvin, was absolutely creepy at the idea that this ultimate organism could be existing, and it just felt very real to me, and everybody did a great job in the movie, and it left me satisfied and wanting more. At number 8, we have the World War II epic Dunkirk. So Dunkirk was excellent, to say the least. It was one of those experience films, and it's hard to talk about because it was like you were living the events of Dunkirk, and that was one of the strongest aspects of it, is because usually with a war film, you have this sort of perspective of this giant narrative. This one, it wasn't that. It was almost reminiscent of a found footage film, where you're just experiencing the events. You don't necessarily know if help's coming or whatever. It's one of those things that you were along for the ride and it was a roller coaster. At number 7, I have the action film John Wick Chapter 2. So John Wick Chapter 2, it was one of those movies that I was like, well, John Wick 1 was spectacular, which means the sequel, as usually the way action films go, sequel is absolutely horrendous. But no, they actually had the people from the first John Wick doing the exact same thing, going in there, and they brought it hard. And watching just the visceral, severe amount of violence, it all felt perfect to me. And I was watching the film just with a tear in my eye as a lover of action films, especially like those one-man army type action films. So it royally made my day. At number 6, we have a film that's kind of, in a weird way, related to another film on the list, which was Dunkirk, but Darkest Hour. Darkest Hour is one of those films that not a lot of people have seen yet, but they need to, because Gary Oldman gives one of the best performances of his entire career playing Winston Churchill. Churchill is a legendary figure, and to have Gary Oldman go in there and you're watching it going, that is without a doubt Winston Churchill. I mean, just watching him and watching that event unfold, it gives you an appreciation for how close we really came to falling at Dunkirk and World War II as a whole. So it's one of those films that you gain an appreciation for life. At number 5, we have the film that is going to polarize some people on this list for me, but Alien Covenant. Alien Covenant, to me, was great. I've always wanted to see a true alien film on screen, and I loved Prometheus. But getting to see the continuation of that saga and getting to see an actual alien film unfold on screen to me was just, it was unlike any other. And I absolutely loved watching Alien Covenant, every minute of it. The movie is actually pretty long, and it felt like 90 minutes to me. I mean, the pacing was breakneck. and I personally loved it. And regardless of the people that crap on it on the internet, when I generally run into people outside of the internet, almost everybody I know loves this film, and there was applause in the theater when the film wrapped, so I call bullcrap on a lot of those people. But all in all, Alien Covenant, it has rightfully earned a spot on this list for me, especially because when I looked at how many times I've rewatched it. At number 4, we have a film that I saw later on in the year, but nonetheless, that doesn't make it any less good, Light of the Moon. Light of the Moon is one of those movies that I said everybody needs to watch, and I stand by that. And it's hard to watch, but it's so powerful, and it's important. Everybody needs to go see this film. At number 3, we had a film that I actually had lower on the list, but as movies came through, it got higher and higher, and as I rewatched it a couple times, it got higher and higher. War for the Planet of the Apes. War for the Planet of the Apes is a solid conclusion to a trilogy that I never expected to be amazing. When Rise of the Planet of the Apes came out, I said, whatever. And I watched the film and was blown away. And then Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, I was like, it's alright. And then War for the Planet of the Apes really just concluded this solid Apes trilogy. And Matt Reeves proved himself as a director for the ages. This film was just a triumph, being an amazing prison break story, and just an amazing world-building story. Alright, number 2, we're almost to the top. Number 2, we have Blade Runner 2049. So Blade Runner 2049 is one of those movies that I also went in with no expectations. I'm a huge Blade Runner fan. That's why I'm wearing the Blade Runner shirt. I am a huge diehard Blade Runner fan, and when I heard they were doing another one, all I could think was, oh god, here we go, the studio rights retention film. And then I saw that Denis Villeneuve was attached to it, and I was like, he's never made a bad movie, so that's actually a promising sign. And then I went into it and was blown away. I had to talk to everybody about the film. I was like, this is a masterpiece. It's amazing. I actually couldn't review the film on this channel because I felt like I didn't give it enough time that it deserved. Alright, so number 1, we are here, the big shebang, the big schlamboozle. So number 1 is The Disaster Artist. So The Disaster Artist to me was one of those films that okay, The Room I watched with my friends. They'd come over, we'd have beer, Baconators from Wendy's, and we'd sit down and just laugh and have a good time at The Room. So when I found out they were doing a film about the making of The Room, I was like, that sounds cool. And watching it, I had a tear in my eye at how beautiful it was to watch a film about making a movie and saying to the world, no, you can't tell me what I want to do. I'm going to do it myself. And that resonated with me personally because as a person who is in the film community and who tries to make film stuff, I have been told countless times, particularly in film school, that I wouldn't have the capability to do something, that I wasn't allowed to do something. If you've ever watched my short films, I was actually told that I wasn't capable of doing the Holmes University series. And I said, no, screw you, dude, I'm gonna go make it myself. So when I saw that, with The Disaster Artist, it immediately resonated with me. I was now in their shoes. I was that guy. And so it was a story for me. And I think it's a story for every content creator. So it was absolutely my favorite film of 2017. I love The Disaster Artist. And if you haven't seen it yet, it is absolutely worth your time. Alright guys, gals, and everything in between, I hope you liked my list. I know I love making these top 10s. I always look forward to it every year. So, what did you guys think? What are your top 10s? Don't forget to like and subscribe. Got plenty more videos coming to you. Love you guys.